All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army, episode 2.237, and we got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to start out with headlines, where we'll talk World Cup 2034, Luis Suarez and Timbers Army, or Timbers versus Timbers Army, as it were. Weekly What If, we're going to go inside the mind of Mike McGee a little bit, so get excited about that. Premier League, we will obviously be talking about Chelsea Spurs ridiculousness, which just went down today. And I think we're going to, get to the heart, at least a little bit, of the debate of VAR versus the soul of soccer, if you will. And of course, we'll talk a little maybe Darwin doing another Darwin. Round the world, MLS playoffs and Champions League preview coming up this week. And finally, stoppage time with Ivan Toney's best bets and everybody's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now it is time to bring in the beauties here with me this week. First up, we got Tweedle number one, Mr. Mitchell Goulet, aka Overtime Mitch, who is fresh off having his identity stolen. So what exactly was the story there? How'd that happen?
That's the least interesting thing that's happened to me this week. I thought you were going to ask about the haircut. No, my identity stolen. I think I clicked a link or something. Somebody got in there, tried to transfer all the millions of dollars in my account to their account. It's been a headache. Don't wish this on my worst enemy. Identity theft is not a joke. Yeah, I seriously thought you were going to ask about the haircut. Damn.
What is that a different haircut for you? I felt like that's what
No, did you
The
not?
Ronaldo cut.
You not see the Ronaldo haircut that I had for Halloween?
I did not. I did not see it.
You were all on my ass for not posting on Instagram, and now it's all of a sudden I post and you're not looking at it.
I have to apologize. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, I had the R9 haircut for a little bit with the little tuft right here. Just recently had to shave it all off, and it looked good. I got some looks, got some attention, which was well deserved, and I rocked the kit for Halloween, and it was one of my better Halloween costumes.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, listen, I apologize. I didn't check the Instagram this week. I will have to after this, and going forward, I will not miss another one. I promise you that.
Right.
Tweedle number two, Mikey Podcast. Although I use that term loosely, apparently Mikey Podcast may be dying. We're not going to get into that right now. Just the name, not the person, by the way. But I have two questions for you. Number one, what were you for Halloween?
Um, I went to a Harry Potter party, so I got to accompany Dobby to the party, which was very nice. Somebody went all out as Dobby, and I got to be their partner as Harry Potter. So nice and easy.
Well, you do. I think you could. I didn't actually see this. I don't know if it was on Instagram. I don't have to apologize. I don't know if I have to apologize again, but I could see you pulling off a Harry Potter.
I do a fine Harry Potter.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. So that's the question that came up based on Mitch's answer. But the question I had written down, which was far more random, but actually Kai Havertz got me. I'll be honest. This is where the question came from. Of all the years of being an Arsenal fan, what is the player signing that you had the highest hopes for, highest expectations for, that ended up being absolute shit?
Absolutely easiest thing in the world. I still have a kit that I wear to this day with it. I was a big, as you know, French Liga fan. Many years the leading scorer was Benzema, Giroud, and we signed the leading scorer from the Liga one season to Arsenal named Marouane Chamakh, and I was the biggest fan in the world. I put all my eggs in that basket. I was in grade school, and I remember telling people, it was back before the In the Know days, and I was like the first one to be like, watch out, this guy's going to be amazing. And between the hair and the abysmal performance, I own that one pretty badly.
I mean, I will never forget when somebody called him a wet muskrat, and it
was a tough year. It was a really tough year.
That haircut was special. All right. That was an easy. I knew you would have one right on the tip of your tongue when I asked you.
I think about it every day.
All right. Let's go to headlines. We got a lot to talk about this week. So the cat is out of the bag. A terribly kept secret is no longer secret at all, as Gianni Infantino dropped a massive news bomb on everyone last week and announced on his Instagram page, interestingly enough, that that World Cup 2034 will be officially hosted by, little drum roll, Saudi Arabia.
No shit.
Did not see that coming.
Whoa.
Did not see that coming at all. Mikey, just sort of what are your thoughts on 2034 World Cup being in our close oil rich, what are they? Our friend? Are they our
Yeah,
friend? The governmental friend?
yeah.
Whatever.
Listen, after what I had to go through on Saturday, I would not consider the Saudis in good relations with the Fowler household.
We'll get to Arsenal Newcastle later. Goddamn.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whatever for me. It's in 20, what is it, 30? Like, I mean, there's gonna be the 5 continent one coming up. It's all done. Just the years of Waka Waka are over, my friend.
So you've lost your dinosaur, so to speak, with the World Cup.
Yeah, there's no more the culture is gone. The culture is green.
So my big qualm with this, like there's could be a million qualms, right? We've been over it. We started it with Qatar, and it's only going to get sort of louder with Saudi Arabia in terms of like, issues that we have from a societal perspective. Sure. But the fact that FIFA screwed up the 100th anniversary of the World Cup and is not having the 100th anniversary in South America is just beyond me. And they did this, like the 100th anniversary should have been 2030. It should have been South America. You can make it the 3 countries that are doing that, opening game baloney, malarkey nonsense. But basically FIFA just pounded, forced that on us, and then gave the 2030 World Cup to, what is it, Spain, Portugal, and Morocco specifically and exclusively, so Saudi Arabia could have the 2034 World Cup. There is no doubt in my mind that's exactly what they did. And so they ruined the 100th anniversary that was just set up perfectly to be in South America. And then 2034 could have been Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, and will be awesome in 2030 and would have been awesome in 2034. But instead, we've got this, ridiculousness with Saudi Arabia in 2034. Mitchell, anything to add other than just sort of like, what, I'm just over FIFA at this point?
Yeah, they lost the plot to me. I read somewhere, I don't know how legit it is, but I read somewhere that Saudi Arabia's federation submitted a quote unquote comprehensive proposal a mere 30 minutes after FIFA had announced open bidding. Maybe they had it ready, who knows? But that just seems like a fishy timetable to me. It's, oh God. And for an organization, speaking about FIFA now, that claims that they're, football's for everyone, to host again another World Cup in a country with such a dismal record on human rights and how they treat women and sports washing, like it's, oh God, I'm tired of it. It's not gonna stop. And
yeah, it's definitely not going to stop. It might get worse. So I think one thing to keep in mind is that FIFA absolutely loves hosting World Cups in, basically authoritarian countries, right? Like Russia, Qatar, I think probably falls under that. Saudi Arabia definitely falls under that, because they don't have to go through all the headaches that they're going through right now with the 2026 World Cup in the US. Like Kroenke pulling his like, oh yeah, I'm not comfortable with how we're splitting the revenues and all this stuff, and like all the the things that come with having to deal with politicians who actually have to listen to their voters and everything like that. They don't have to worry about any of that when they go to Russia, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. It's like they just get handed an envelope, probably mini envelopes, and then they go ahead and distribute those envelopes to their member organizations, and everybody's happy, and that's how it works. So yeah, it's sad, it's unfortunate, and as I said on Twitter, it's like I can be mad, I can be sort of whatever, I'm still gonna watch it. I'm my morals and my scruples only go so far, and the World Cup is like, it's too big. And you know what? Fucking FIFA knows that. They absolutely know it, and they take advantage of it. So, oh, Gianni, you little bastard. All right, we'll move on. So speaking of poorly kept secrets, Luis Suarez to Inter Miami is, I believe, official at this point. And yeah, so we got, I mean, Inter Miami, basically Messi is just, he's completed the game of soccer. He is, going off on side quests at this point. He got the whole gang back together. I'm like thinking of that. What was that? That banana boat or the banana thing on NBA with Dwayne Wade,
LeBron
LeBron.
banana boat crew.
Yeah, exactly. He's got it. Messi's banana boat crew is getting all back together at Miami here with Jordi Alba, Busquets, and now Luis Suarez. There's actually, and this is not on the banana boat theme, but there's a lot of rumors about other people perhaps turning up at Miami. I think I heard Modric name out there, probably some other ones. Good Lord, that'd be weird. But anyway, 36-year-old Luis Suarez turns up at Inter Miami for the 2024 MLS season. For you, Mikey, number one, 2 questions. Does he make Miami better? Number 2, is Miami the favorites to win MLS Cup next season?
Yes and yes. I watched him a lot at Gremio this fall. Still had a lot of legs. Very much a 90-minute player for them in that highly competitive Brazilian league. Tons of shots on frame, tons of movement, just the kind of thing that Messi's always thrived off in partnership. The reason MSM was so great. This is great news for fans of Luis Suarez and Messi. They only make each other better. And there's going to be a huge obvious target on their back. And if they manage their rest well and get to the playoffs next season, there's absolutely nobody that should beat them over 2 legs. I actually believe that. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like his stats with Gremio are pretty good. I think he had
and he passed the eye test too. He moved well.
10 goals, 10 assists, 26 games. The big question here, though, is number one, he's 36. I assume he'll be 37 at some point over the course of
one would have to assume.
Just sort of doing the math on that one. And basically 2 things, like, Father Time is undefeated. So another year, like when you turn 36, when you turn 37, like those years are not like when you turn 24 versus 25. It's a little different, let me tell you. And number 2 is whether you can go through a whole season sort of without serious injury. And I think that is actually the big question, because he's had knee issues for years. And I know that they were plaguing him down in Brazil. So I think that's going to be a really big issue. And you never want to sort of really talk about our guy's going to get injured, but that's a serious concern. Mitch, anything to add on the Luis Suarez, the Miami front?
10 goals and 10 assists in a lower scoring Brazilian league is excellent. He's going to come to MLS and he's going to feel like he's got free reign to do whatever the hell he wants. That's going to be an exciting partnership up there. Inter Miami almost seems like they're assembling a cast of characters and not necessarily footballers. They can play football, but they look like they are trying and successfully winning the media game. You think they got attention with Messi when you have 2/3 of MSN, and that's going to entice more and more players to come over. They are on the front foot of the publicity game that's going to come to a peak in 2026. This is an excellent move, and I can't confidently say that they're going to be favorites to win MLS Cup next year, but they're going to be competing for it for sure. That's going to be an exciting team.
So I guess last thing here is, would it be good for MLS if this team of 30 whatever year olds came in and just sort of dominated the league like that? I mean, we've sort of been trying to get away from that retirement league thing. I feel like if they came in and just mopped the floor with the league, that might not be the best thing from a PR perspective, Mitch.
Well, I think there's a difference between being a retirement league and just taking players towards the end of their career. If those players are playing 90 minutes, even if they're getting subbed off after 60, if those players are playing, then you can't really say that these moves are retirement moves. There are players, don't get me wrong, who came over to MLS and really kind of went through the motions for a season or 2 before they hung them up. But if Messi plays, if Suarez plays, if Busquets and Alaba play, then their age doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that they're close to the end of their careers. I realize those things go hand in hand. But like, if they're playing and they're the best in the league, the idea that it's a retirement league is not actually like a criticism.
You're just embracing the sort of,
I'm embracing, let's get the best footballers that we can to play in our league. And whatever age they are, it doesn't really matter if they're the best in the league.
Yeah. So the big concern, I think, about this, other than injuries, which is a problem when you get in your 30s and especially your upper 30s, was, I think it was somebody commented on Instagram about this. Actually, I know who it was. It was Dakota Cheeseman, who's got an absolute fucking A+ name. I love Dakota Cheeseman. He basically pointed out that, you got a bunch of guys who are not going to be able to cover a lot of ground defensively. And that's true. And in a league like MLS, where you got some athletes, that might be a problem. So I guess we'll see on that. Okay, we'll move on though at this point. And last, quickly, we'll touch on, because it just was announced, Portland Timbers announced the hiring of Phil Neville, despite some serious protestations from Timbers Army, which I thought was interesting. Mikey, you got any sort of thoughts on Gary Neville, Phil Neville, popping up after sort of, I would call, a rather disappointing spell with Inter Miami, popping up as the Portland's #1 choice here?
I would consider this more an indictment of the retirement league mantra than anything else.
Yeah.
He I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. I believe, as a person of radio and podcasting, that we need bad guys. We need these people. And I actually am a fan of the Nevilles being more in my life. If not for, like, if I turn the TV on at 10:30 on a Sunday night and I'm looking to get bailed out with a bet and I see Gary Neville's coaching, like, it makes it a better experience for me. Having a Neville somewhere in that world. So I'm for it personally. But I think he's going to, as usual, rot the core of that club out from the inside. So
that's a harsh take right there.
He sucks.
He didn't do great things with Inter Miami, no doubt about that. Interestingly enough, first of all, I'm 100% on board with you. Chasing it on a Sunday night, get MLS After Dark, get some wild over bets. Like, I'm 100% on board.
I want Phil Neville in my life at that hour.
I love you. I love where you're going with that. But he's not evil, by the way. I mean, I feel like Phil Neville and
the Nevilles are evil. They're evil.
They seem like really amiable, nice guys. I don't know where you get.
Yeah, because you saw his tweet today. I'm not Neville positive today.
I actually did not see his tweet. I'm sure there were probably a lot of them over the weekend that probably got under everybody's skin. But the thing about what I was going to say about Neville is that the Timbers Army coming out very strongly against hiring him. Like, I like the sort of the fan supporter power, giving them some whatever, some ability to speak on whatever decisions clubs are making. But like, we're talking about like some tweets from 2012. I think that's what is at the heart of this, and they weren't even really that bad. He said, him being Phil Neville, said that they were like him, joking with his sister. I mean, they were clearly very sexist and misogynist, but it seemed like they were probably not that serious. I listen, we're getting into like cancel culture, and I don't really want to get into that conversation. It just was weird. Like, if Timbers Army wanted to come out against this hire, I feel like you could use his track record as sort of the the meat of your case there, rather than go back to some tweets from a decade ago that whatever. But whatever, we'll see how it goes. We got the over bets on MLS After Dark to look forward to, so I think we're all on board with that. Now, weekly what if time. As I said, we're going to get inside the mind of Mike McGee. So he just dropped some random text on me over the course of the weekend. And this, by the way, I need to get Mike just back in the podcast game. He would be really good. If he's got a million things going on, so it'd be tough. But like, his mind is going a million miles a minute. He texted me and he was like, MLS players need to go on strike right now because they've got the most power, the most leverage that they will ever have. And I was like, so this is like coming from a place of like, the owners must have, kind of, fist or skull effed you, you being the players, year or contract after contract after contract. And he's probably right? When's the last time that we thought that the players got the better of a new collective bargaining agreement? Has that ever happened? I don't think so. I think we always tend to decide, yeah, players got screwed on this one. So so the question here being weekly what if, hypothetical, if they did go on strike right now, Mikey, could they win that PR battle? Do you think that is actually something that is a legitimate, like, now is, because Mike's point was that, they got Messi here, right? So they got the eyes of the world on the league. Obviously the World Cup's coming up as well. Is now the time to like try and pull this thing and put some, I don't know, do some damage on the owners?
I think damage is a key word there. You'd have to analyze whether the potential impact of this could drive away any progress the league has made lately to garner the strength that it takes to get it across the table. It's an almost impossible task to sit across from these people. Mike would know it better than anybody. And his idea of, the players having the right time to strike must come from a place of serious experience. So it would all be, to me, about damage and the idea of, would this bring all the progress that's happened to a screeching halt, or is it worth it for the eventual long-term success of the league to have that happen? So I think the league is building a little bit of momentum towards, worldwide credibility. I think the promotion of the sport from Apple has done wonders for it. But we'll see if that new deal warrants a new conversation for them. And if Mike says it's time, then I wouldn't be prone to side against him.
Yeah, I agree. Mitch?
Yeah, as far as timing goes, I'm the least qualified to speak on it, but it does feel like the league itself is gaining momentum, and it's all in, whatever those demands might be, and when that right time to strike while the iron's hot, I guess. A lot of decisions that the league has made lately, in my opinion, have been really short-sighted decisions when it comes to like revenue sharing and infrastructure and like, I don't know, just it feels like it's a very make money now kind of league.
Roster
And
build.
yeah, the roster build, right. Whereas these players would be fighting on behalf of a better future, a longer term product. So I think there's a natural disconnect there. And wherever that common ground lies, again, like the players themselves and Mike are probably better qualified to speak on that. But I feel like you gotta, there's a sweet spot. And I hope the players find it. I really do, because the league is nothing without the players. And if they decided to go on strike and fight for a better deal for themselves, whether that means less games and more pay or just, better working conditions, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it does seem like there's they have a lot, not just the leverage thing with the amount of eyeballs that have, were on the league and they're coming to the league because of Messi and all that, but also it just seems like there's so many sort of easy fixes that the league and I assume management ownership is not taken care of, with just how many games they got to play, how congested the schedule is right now. I know there's a lot of player reps who are in the Sam fam. So maybe I'm gonna have to like text them all and see just get their thoughts on it. I probably should
do some digging. Yeah, do a little undercover.
Yeah, do a little research. Listen, if Mike's brain, he knows what's going on, so he brought it up. So I figured it was an interesting thought, and I hadn't thought of it at all. I'm too much of a sheep, going along with, well, the CBA goes till whatever year it is, so it's gonna be. So, but yeah, shout out to Mike for that one. And Sneaky Fox, by the way. Okay, we will head to Premier League time. I'm not even going to ask you guys the normal question about what result was the most interesting, because I got some stuff to get off my chest about this Tottenham Chelsea game, and I know you guys, not that you're unbiased, not that you're sort of some sort of neutral third party in this situation, but at least you hate both of us. So at least I hope you can give some semblance of some unbiased takes. Then we'll get to yours. I know you guys got a lot of stuff to get off your chest as well after that Arsenal Newcastle debacle / game. But this Tottenham Chelsea game was like, it broke my brain a little bit. The first half, the first 45 minutes, like I was excited about the game. It got underway. It started out well for Tottenham. It looked like we were just sort of dominating them. I mean, we were dominating. We went up 1-0, almost went up 2-0, but Son's pinky toe apparently was offside. And no qualms with that, to be honest. Offsides is rather objective, and he was offside. So fine. Then things just went like haywire. Like just everything that could go wrong kind of for Spurs went wrong. We got injuries galore. We got red cards galore. We lost to let's be honest, a not very good Chelsea team at our own home stadium. We lost 4-1. I mean, this is just take a step back. That's obviously a terrible, horrible, embarrassing result, except the way it went down. Like, I didn't come away from that game feeling that bad about like the team and like, oh wow, I got to rethink my perspective on what Tottenham is this season. I still think that they're a very good team. I've said all along they're not a title contender, but like they have top four, they'll be right in it, assuming they don't get injuries. Which unfortunately, we lost Madison, we lost Van de Ven, maybe the two. I mean, with Sonny, the two of the top three most important players on the team are out for who knows how long. Madison hopefully won't be out too long. I don't really know. I'm just a total guesstimation. But like Van de Ven, he grabbed his hamstring. I mean, that was just one of those injuries where you're like, okay, well, he's out for 3-4 weeks. Hopefully it's just that. And he, by the way, has been awesome this season. Then you got Romero, absolute space cadet. Like, what is going on in his brain? He was like fiending for a red card that entire game. I was like trying to tweet out how badly he wanted a red card from like 2 challenges before when he already got a red card. But I'm getting off topic. The thing about this game that broke my brain was the VAR decisions, and not the VAR decisions, because I think honestly, I have no qualms with any of the decisions that were made. I thought Michael Oliver did a fine job. I thought VAR did what it was supposed to do. The big question is, are we okay with that being what VAR is supposed to do? Because it did not feel like a soccer game. Soccer is about 45 minutes of free flowing sports, enjoying it. You score a goal, you fucking get hyped, or get completely, your heart is crushed. Now you score a goal, and like the first thing you think is like, well, I got to wait 15 seconds to find out whether VAR, whether the guy raised his flag. A whole different conversation about these nerds who don't raise the goddamn flag right away. We're not going to get too off topic. I know we are. We've already gone off topic 5 different times. But what did you guys think about the first 45 minutes? And there must have been, I'm guessing, 7, 8 VAR just sort of looks. I don't know what you call them. Is that what we want? Because this feels like this game is a perfect example of, if you want VAR, if you're pro VAR, then you have got to just expect that this type of game is what you want, right? The whole point of VAR is that you want to get every call correct. That's the point of VAR. And I think they did get every call correct. We could argue about some of them, but like, I thought they got them all right. And then we had 8 stoppages, let's say, VAR decisions that led to 12 minutes of stoppage time. The flow of the game was completely off. It didn't feel like soccer. And I don't know. Mitch, what do you think? Am I just sort of off base on all this, or what?
No. I think you're a bigger man than I for admitting, or at least saying, that you think VAR got all of those right. I would have been on here bullshitting. But no, I think this is like, that was a textbook implementation of VAR as the
Yeah.
rules state it now. And it was just a really ugly product to watch. There's going to be games like that every season in every league. And the alternative is a game that is interrupted by like flying tackles and injuries and like time wasting, for example. all of those things can happen alongside VAR as well. But like we've seen other games that have been killed flow wise by all of those things.
Sure.
So it's not the only thing that can kill flow in a game, but it is kind of the most unnatural additive to a game. Something really needs to change. This doesn't look like the product that it did like 3 years ago, even though, like we said, all of, if not most of, if not all of those calls were correct. I don't know if something changes in like the play flow, the communication between referees, if there's just a little more urgency with VAR. Like, I really don't know, but all of those decisions were made on like, fairly pivotal plays, whether it's calling a goal back, awarding a penalty, a yellow turned into a red card. Like those are important plays in a game that you want to get right. But God, it just takes fucking forever.
Yeah, and it just kills what is so special and so different about soccer. And it's sort of like, when a goal goes in, it used to be just like, orgasmic,
euphoria,
right? Just like, there it is. We've been waiting all this time, and now it's like, well, a goal went in, and my first thought is like, how long do we got to wait? Like, are they going to show a linesman? Like, it's not the same thing. So I think that really this is the perfect example of a game where, is this what we want? Because I do not want this. I understand VAR is about getting, decisions right. I think I've been pretty consistent about this from day one. I get VAR for objective calls like offsides. I get it. Like, that just, we can use that. It can be quick. Obviously they've screwed it up here and there, as Arsenal fans probably remember it quite well, but like, 99.9% of the time they get it right, I think, on those objective, calls. It's when you go back and you re-ref the entire game, which is what they're doing now. This could lead to a different conversation, which we probably do need to get into in this episode, with Arsenal's statement about refereeing and the state of referees, and the, Liverpool recent tweet or statement about it, and all this other stuff. But basically, like, you're taking the game out of the ref's hands. Like, they have no authority anymore. Like, they're basically like, well, I'm going to call this and then we'll see what VAR says, which there's going to be calls that are controversial no matter what. Okay. We have that now with VAR. So just get rid of the VAR for these really, really ticky-tack fouls and sort of really, really subjective decisions. Just let the ref deal with it on the field. Unfortunately, what that means is they're going to catch more grief and more scrutiny, which is ramped up beyond belief, and beyond, as I'm sure Mitch, as our resident referees union member, can attest. Like, referees have it worse right now than they ever have. They're catching it from all angles, from all teams. VAR just makes it 100 times worse. I think that, I don't know, Mikey, you weigh in here. Like, what are you, is this sort of debate about, my thoughts on VAR? Where do you come down on that?
Yeah, and then I'll attempt to move it along onto talking about the actual 4-1 home defeat. To be fair, though, your fans,
we don't need to talk
to be fair, your fans were like an eighth man out there for you. Nothing represents, in my opinion, the complete, I guess, everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. When they pulled the game back seconds after restarting to go over the Reece James incident, yet you're telling me 2 weeks later, with the good process mistake, we're unable to stop. That, to me, is it, and for something as small as the Reece James incident that was looked at in real time and judged to be not a violent offense.
That looked bad. Just as an aside, looked kind of bad to me.
Sure, but it's no different than Bruno's the day before, and there's no way they're doing that. So,
oh my God, Bruno was a man possessed. Right. Go ahead.
But the idea of pulling it back now, I think that's going to get overlooked in this whole conversation about how much stoppage was included in this match. They're doing things that they've told us that they can't do now. So there's just really nothing. There's It's run by a bunch of morons, and I'm with Mikel that like I don't want my life to be in the hands of these people.
There it is. Oh my God.
I don't want my life to be in the hands of these people. I really don't.
Mitch is in a real tough spot here as a resident GRU
I suppose like we're taught like as referees, you're taught some kind of game management. And what VAR does is it arms the people with like ammo against you. Whereas in the past, if you had a replay and that was it. VAR gives you lines. It gives you like a whole new set of guidelines and rules that they know you have to follow. So now they have like verbiage that they can use against you and spin. Referees, like you said, are in a real shit spot right now. But I agree that like they're not using this technology to the best of their ability. They are using it to turn fractional calls into game defining instances, and then again, missing game defining instances with mistakes and just kind of overlooking it because, well, we can't restart play now or we can't pull it back. I would prefer them to be speaking to like the Diaz goal versus now. I would actually prefer them to be more agile and in the middle of a season be like, you know what? That's stupid. We can pull it back. If we've really fucked up a call, like a goal like that, we can pull play back and say, nope, we missed that one. I prefer that. I really would. But as it relates to like the Reece James incident, there's no need. That was a stupid
and they told us they couldn't do that 2 weeks ago. And it's
right. Like, yeah, it's God, it's a talking point every weekend. And I think that's like the overarching idea behind this is I don't want referee decision. Nobody does. Nobody wants referee decisions to be the talking point of every single weekend, but unfortunately they are.
We're not talking about a soccer game right now. We're talking about VAR decisions.
Yeah, you're damn lucky too with your bravery.
Part of that is because I don't want to talk about a soccer
game. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get into here is the idea of you guys being brave and plucky for some reason, playing a fucking Cruyff high line, 9 men at home. I will never for the life of me understand the sucking you're getting from the media right now. It's baloney.
Well, I will say this. I would not have done it myself if I was a coach. But I'm not Ange Postecoglou, and so
Chelsea should be embarrassed.
They should. Nicholas Jackson should, go home and erase this from his mind, Men in Black style, because the fact you scored the single most embarrassing hat trick in the history of soccer is, not something to go do your little fucking celebration after scoring a third
you're
goal
really bothered right
against fucking 9 men. Wow, congratulations. All 3 of your goals were tap-ins. All 3 of them were about 5 feet away. This guy, like, listen, I don't want to I was talking to a Chelsea fan, my friend Tomas. I told him, I was like, I'm not going to throw Jackson, like, I'm not going to say he's trash. Okay, I have a personal rule that you got to give a guy some time to acclimate to a new team and especially to a new league. So I'm not willing to say this guy stinks. But so far, his body of work, he stinks. Okay, he stinks. He's butt. I'm not
willing to say he's bad, but his
it's
play
not him.
On the
it's
field
his body.
Really
it's a totally different thing. He doesn't stink. His body of work so far stinks.
Okay, that's a distinction. Yeah,
I like it.
Stinks. Okay. And so like first of all, I'm not mad. I just want to be clear about that. # not mad. But first of all, fuck you, Chelsea. Second of all, fuck you, Nicholas Jackson. Third of all, I'm just sad. But also, I will say, Ange, I just whatever he wants, I'm down with. Do whatever you want. Like I wouldn't have done that. I would not have done a high line with 9 men and Eric Dyer as one of our center backs, and God knows who Højbjerg and whoever the hell else was out there at the time, against some of the fastest people, fastest guys in the league with what is it, Ukraine Bolt and whoever else. But that's him. That's what Ange does. And you know what? I'm on board with it. And that's why the media is kind of sucking him off, is because, I mean, first of all, there was a lot of tweets out there about, Tottenham, Liverpool. I didn't understand this about Liverpool fans being like, we've somehow been vindicated. I didn't understand that at all. Like it was a completely different situation. There were, controversial calls. I have, not that, I'm the end all be all, but like I've said all along, like, listen, there's going to be just missed calls. There's going to be controversial calls. Like they're going to go both ways. Like we we got kind of lucky against Liverpool. We got kind of lucky against Arsenal. And then we got, I think, maybe, I don't know, a little unlucky this time. I mean, like some of the calls were borderline, but whatever. I think that whatever. I agree with Ann. She's like, yeah, we missed we got the calls went against us, and you just got to go with it. I'm 100% on board with him and not complaining about, allegedly missed calls, which maybe we'll use that as a segue into the, wine fest of the fucking season for Arsenal Newcastle. My God, you guys, you put out an official statement crying about a goddamn, refereeing decision, or handful of refereeing decisions. And to be fair, you had a case. The ball, I do not think, was out of bounds. Nope. I don't understand how that foul wasn't called on VAR. I have no idea. So let's get into the Arsenal Newcastle game now. I don't know. I shouldn't even start. Let's let you guys take this away. I'm sure you've had some time to digest and think about it. Mikey, what's your thoughts on the 1-0?
So quickly we should go over the 4 incidents that I believe, like very quickly. I honest to goodness believe Bruno Gimenez is lucky to remain on the pitch in the first half.
Yeah, what the fuck was he doing? That was weird.
2 foot whiff, gets up with context and strikes an opponent in the back of the head.
It was that was so egregious that it was like he had a buddy in Brazil putting money on him to get a card. Like that's that's how over the line that was. But go on.
Really hard to understand that one. And Sky's statement that it was a forearm, not an elbow, made me literally want to kill myself. The 3 incidents that led up to the goal, I think because this is going to sound so dumb, but I think because of the tight nature of each of the calls, by approving them and moving on to the next one, I believe the referees were hoping the next one would be a more obvious reason to rule it out, thinking their job would get easier if they went down the line. And by the time they got to the end, they're like, shit, everybody's watching us do this, aren't they? We can't go back and now do the first thing. And then I think it just became, it's a really crazy situation. And I honestly wouldn't wish officiating that on anybody. But when they ruled the foul out, when they start measuring the next thing, that they approved the last thing. And it's worse to watch your team get scored on in slow motion over the course of 4 minutes than anything I'll ever explain to anybody in my life.
Especially in a game like that where one goal is like basically,
and you knew it's coming, and it's Anthony Gordon. It just, everything about it was personal hell. And honestly, thank you so much for the last 5 hours of my day, just completely wiping this from my brain. But I think the statement's a bit much. I understand the nature of it all.
Just a bit. That was so.
I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be. Yeah. I would have sent it too. I mean, listen, the forgetting to draw the lines thing should have been the first time we started getting the benefit of the doubt around here. Maybe a statement might help. I can see doing whatever you prepare, like their life for these guys, and for it to come down to this is really pathetic. So I can see the frustration. Wouldn't have handled it that way personally, but I see the point. The team itself, it was never going to be a match where we created a ton of chances. Came in with a certain level of control, which I think is different this year to last. I don't think it was as hectic as the first 15 minutes at St. James last season, and a performance that lacked a lot of final third quality. It got some injuries in the center of the park there with Jesus and Odegaard. I think Saka and Martinelli need to be much better for that to get a result. And I think a 0-0 draw was a deserved day. And then you just get on the end of something that causes you to freak out, and it's Newcastle, and it all hits the shit. So that's my thoughts on the day. I think it's a shame that we have to talk about other points of it. But Arsenal, not enough creative third impact to win, but I think did enough to draw.
So Mitch, on that goal, the individual sort of decisions, did you think the ball was out?
No.
Did you think it was a foul?
Yes.
Did you think it was offsides?
No.
Okay, I'm with you on all that. So I sort of took issue with like how much Arsenal fans were harping on the out of bounds thing, because listen, if you're talking about a millimeter, Like,
right, you're not going to win that one.
That's
No.
just not what soccer's about. That's just not what it's about. Like, if he kept it in by a millimeter, if it was out by a millimeter, like, we're watching this game like from 50 yards away on a camera screen. Like, who cares? Like, it's the spirit of the game. The ball was in play. It didn't go fucking 5 feet out or something like that. I don't understand how they got the foul. I mean, there was 2 hands
Crazy.
in the back.
And I know there are instances in which the still frames look far more damning
Right,
than
and
the
this
actual
was
video
not
evidence. Nope. The still frames just corroborated everything that the video did, and vice versa. I really don't know. And like the whole reason that we're talking about this is for all the reasons Mikey mentioned, that the performance, the gameplay itself was underwhelming. Like that was a 0-0 draw. And we would not be spending nearly as much time or stressful mental energy talking about it if this was not the way it was decided. And I get the statement. This leagues come down to instances like this. Top 4 finishes are decided by singular points, singular goal differentials sometimes, like head-to-head matchups. Like this shit matters. While it's game week 11, this shit matters. Especially battling against another, perennial top half of the table team. So like I do get the statement. Anything that any type of statement is going to be considered whiny and like, reactionary. But I would honest to God prefer a club statement than rolling over and saying nothing. I'm fine with it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm on the completely opposite side of that.
Well, are you more mad at the wording of the statement or the fact that a statement
just the
was
fact
made?
they're making a statement. Don't
The
make a
wording of the
statement.
statement was, it was a little diplomatic, but it was like, we're willing to collaborate in the future with the referees to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Like it was almost a little condescending, which I kind of liked too.
It was very much so.
But it wasn't like outcry. They're not saying like we need to riot in the streets. It
doesn't matter.
It was
You know what a
display of
statement
them
means.
being upset.
You know what a statement. When you put out a statement like that is as far as like from an official standpoint, that's as big a fuck you as you could possibly make. That really is an official statement from a club, saying, we'll work with you next time and make sure you're not so shit. Which is
so funny,
right?
That's so fucking funny.
It is funny, but like this, now we're going down the. So what was it? All the whining about Klopp and like wanting a replay. Now you got the Arsenal statement. This is slightly different, but Anthony Taylor got demoted to the championship. Like the war on referees right now is real, and I think clubs kind of have to take a little bit more of an adult-like stance and dial it back a little bit, and sort of we like, if you look at the state of the game and the way things are going, like referees have the hardest job in the world. Like in the sports world, let's not confuse things here. in the sports world, like a soccer referee, the game is so fast, so subjective, and like there's so many people watching it. An English Premier League referee probably has the single hardest job in the sports world, and like for clubs to come out and to be undermining them, which is exactly what Arsenal did. With this, no, not fuck them. We as a collective community, a soccer community, we have to give them some support. And you're basically what you're doing with Arsenal coming out with this statement is you're
don't Gary
fueling
Neville
the fire. Right, you're fueling the fire of fans who are already getting on them way more than they used to. And we now have this VAR where everybody thinks like every decision is like be 100% accurate, which is not the case in soccer. It's not the case. It will never be the case. So I'm a huge whatever the opposite of proponent is. I'm the opponent of statements of this nature from the club, and I would be embarrassed to be a fan of the club.
Well, thank God you're not.
Amen.
For a lot of reasons. Listen, you can have your opinion, and if you want to continue to sit by while injustices are thrown upon these hardworking men and ladies,
there it is.
you can feel free to do that.
There it is. The thing is that like you have a point. Like it's not that I'm completely saying you're full of shit with basically all your belly aching and butt hurting here.
We should lie down and take it and say thank you. May I have another? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes you just gotta turn the other cheek. I wouldn't say bend over and take it. I would say turn the other cheek, focus on the future, focus on yourself.
Thank you, Michael Oliver.
I thought Michael Oliver actually did a fine job in that Newcastle.
You're so great.
No, I didn't say he was great. I think he did a fine job in the Spurs Chelsea game. I think the
2034 World Cup's going to be in fucking Sam's backyard at this rate. I'm on to you.
I need to get some of those envelopes because I haven't got a single envelope yet. But yeah, I actually had a bunch of arguments with Spurs fans on Twitter who said that the red card on Romero was wrong.
So I asked you this before we started recording. The tackle itself looked very similar to Curtis Jones's red card earlier in the season, where he kind of got ball, rolled over, and I was on the side of Jones in that scenario. That like I didn't think that was a foul. I think Romero left his foot in quite a bit for this one, but I still think it was like orange. I don't know.
Really?
I'm not like completely sold. It was red. Yeah.
I think I think you got to be in control of yourself, and you go into a challenge like that.
I
think that Romero's was probably a little, I don't know about worse than Jones because they were slightly different in the way they went in, but it just looked like, because honestly, I felt like Jones had a higher chance of breaking Basuma's leg than Romero had of, I think it was Sterling who he went on. But Romero, you could just see him sort of, like take a take a step back and it looked like he was like really being forceful with
nothing
the way
new.
He went in. Listen, Romero is, I love him as a defender, and you got to play on the edge. He's gone over the line.
He's a bad dude. He's a bad dude.
He's gone over the line. Listen, he's gone over the line. I mean, to be that type of that level of
he's going to seriously hurt somebody.
Listen, the one thing that I remember from my time doing podcasting with Jimmy Conrad is he's like, every professional athlete has a screw loose. That actually stuck with me, and he was right about that. And I think Romero has 3 screws loose, and it helps in certain situations. It certainly hurts in others. Okay, let's talk quickly about the rest of the league here.
Liverpool got off easy, huh?
They did. No Dalton, no Tyler. So we're kind of, I guess, we're giving them we're not giving them the shit they deserve. Darwin Nunez, you beautiful bastard, you. I mean, how you miss that sitter is beyond me. Except it wasn't even surprising. It was like, that's Darwin. There goes Darwin again. He's just being his beautiful self. That absolute donkey. I love him. I love him in so many different ways. He'll probably score an absolute worldie next week to kind of balance it out a little bit. I'm surprised he didn't in that game against Luton Town. By the way, we should give some credit to Luis Diaz. And, the fact he played in that game, scored their goal. His dad is still being held by, ELN in Colombia. That takes some serious cojones and mental fortitude. So when Tyler goes, gets his sports boner about mentality monsters, and I normally sort of laugh at him, but I'll give him credit. Luis Diaz, that dude is a legitimate mentality monster. But drawing against Luton Town, that's tough. That's tough look. Any other tough looks? Manchester United, speaking of tough looks, so they got a win. Let's give them some credit there. I absolutely ate the trash on Instagram. I posted a thing about I was so lazy. I just didn't do the work, but I posted an Instagram picture of, under Bruno's Instagram post, David De Gea said something about, you shouldn't be the captain or whatever. David De Gea was making fun of
you.
well, me at the end of the day, but Roy Keane, and him coming out and saying. But here's the thing. Here's what I will actually wanted to talk about, and the whole point of that post on Instagram. Yeah, I fucked up. I was lazy. It was a bad post. I'll sorry, haters. You win this one. I take an L on that. But here's the thing. Was Roy Keane wrong about Bruno as a Fernandes, as the captain of Manchester United? He seems like he is part of the problem. He's not part of the solution. He's part of the problem. And not just like, if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. I think Bruno is part of the problem with his attitude and sort of the way he goes about things. Like I think that Roy Keane was probably 100%, in the right. Although I actually don't know all the things Roy Keane said about Bruno, but I think that Bruno being the captain of that team is symptomatic of what's wrong with United right now. So that was actually the whole point of that post. And then, of course, me being lazy and not actually doing the work and realizing it was sarcasm. David De Gea not actually using the sarcasm font. Shame on him for that. But yeah, it was an unfortunate moment in my life. Anything else? Oh, the other thing I want to talk about: Nottingham Forest benching Matt Turner.
Deserved, unfortunately.
You think so?
He had a nightmare. Yeah.
So there was that play against Liverpool where he came out, and that was unfortunate. But I thought he had actually been playing. We don't see training.
He had been playing well,
right? I thought he had been playing quite well in the games I watched, which is actually quite a lot of them. And then that was an unfortunate play against Liverpool. I don't know. I'm not gonna pull the lever and say that I'm a Nottingham Forest hater yet. But like, if this continues, I'm willing. I'm willing to go, just like Chelsea and drop the hammer on the coach and whoever else I got to go after for maybe no good reason. Mitch, you disagree?
No, I think I just hope this doesn't last more than a couple weeks. Like, I really hope this is like a one-game punishment. It does not bode well for him that they conceded nothing to Villa.
No, that stinks.
Like, that's just real bad coincidence. Yeah, I'm just fingers crossed this only lasts a week, because I do want to see him play. But again, had a howler.
I thought it was just that one play. I mean, listen, they were getting torched by Liverpool, and
he faces a lot of shots week in and week out, and he does really well with just about every one of them. I'm not taking any of that away from him. I'm just saying that, like, at the highest level, mistakes like that cost playing time sometimes.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. We shall see. Man City 6-1 over Bournemouth. That was men versus boys. Shout out Brentford. I think I was the one that was really pumping West Ham's tires, and I feel like they've fallen off the last few weeks. Everton, well done, sirs. Getting it every time. It's like I'm ready to say Everton absolutely need to get relegated and just clear the deck. Then they always do something, and they pull out a win or a draw or a win and a draw. Their recent results were what? So they beat Burnley, that was EFL Cup. They beat West Ham, that was Premier League. They got a draw against Brighton. So every time I'm ready to just throw the baby out with the bathwater, they always pull something out like that. I don't know if that's a good thing. Everton fans are probably like, yeah, that's not what we need. All right, we're gonna skip power rankings and do a real quick weekend preview. Chelsea, I think the game of the weekend is Chelsea hosting Man City. Chelsea coming off of their famous win against undefeated Tottenham this week. 9-man undefeated Tottenham. I will point that out. I just think City's not very good, and I think Man City's going to come in and clap their cheeks this weekend. Like, I'm expecting a City win by, I would take City -2.5 in a heartbeat. Like, I think they're gonna City, the way they've been playing. Like, I think City's just gonna clap some cheeks this weekend. Any disagreement here? And that's actually, by the way, let me point this out. I don't think Chelsea has, I think I've said this before. Chelsea's not, like, they have talent. if they get their shit together, like they'll be, a decent 8th place team. But like they the way they played against Tottenham, like we were down 2 guys, and they just were not. I don't know. There's I don't want to talk shit about Pochettino because like I love the guy and I hope he does come back to Tottenham, even though, or not even though, as he basically kind of teased during this week, which was absolutely wild. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a coaching thing or higher up. They just don't have it together. And I don't know what the deal is, but I think they're going to get their ass handed to them this weekend. Mikey, any disagreement?
Sure hope they. I sure hope they can hold City, because taking points off the two of us and letting City run rampant on them would be really anti new era, really anti Barclays of them. I would hate that.
He would. Any other games from the weekend?
Liverpool Brentford's to me the best game. Just looking at that here.
Yeah.
I really like the way Brentford set up to play on the road, and I think Liverpool have looked vulnerable. I think that could have some fireworks in it. Brighton with their yo-yo up down, they might hang 8 against Sheffield. You never know. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good slate as far as the weekend games go.
Don't love Tottenham going to Wolves, by the way.
Yeah.
Do not
Wolves losing to Sheffield last week, and then the week before holding Newcastle at home. It's not looking good, bro.
And Tottenham losing, Van de Ven, maybe Madison. I mean, like I just am not excited about that game at all. Not even a little bit.
And Neto popped the hamstring, so maybe
there was that, which I'm not going to cheer on it, but thank God it happened because we need a little help. I said it in tweet during real time, like we're watching the wheels fall off of the season, and it really could go that way. And in fact, I should have clipped this, but last week I said on the podcast, I'm nervous about this Chelsea game. Somebody laughed at me. I don't know who it was. It might have been Bono or that was probably Bono. But I said, like, I'm nervous about this Chelsea game. I could see this being like, looking back, this is the game where the wheels started falling off. And that game, losing Van de Ven, losing Madison, the way things went with the red cards and everything, like, we really could look back and be like, yep, that's when the wheels started falling off. God damn it. All right. Quickly, round the world. Let's hit it. MLS playoff time. We will get Tyler back next week, or maybe one of our true MLS experts. Quickly though, we went through kind of an extended conversation about St. Louis last week. After they lost the first game to Sporting Kansas City, and before they lost the second game. And so go back and listen to that if you want to hear our thoughts on sort of what this season was for St. Louis. I mean, I know that it leaves a bad taste in fans' mouths. And I, as basically somebody who was rooting for them pretty hard, I'm pretty saddened that they, got dropped, it bounced out so quickly like that. But credit to Sporting Kansas City. They played well. Other matchups. Let's see. So LAFC took care of business. Seattle and Dallas now have a third game coming up tonight. Houston and RSL play. The game Philadelphia New England was an awesome first game. I'm sure the second game will probably be likewise. Cincinnati took care of business, albeit after penalties in the second game. Columbus and Atlanta. I mean, I was shocked there was only 2 goals in the first game. We'll get to best bets in just a moment here, so I won't jump the gun, but I'm expecting some fireworks in that. Orlando and Nashville, it turned out pretty much exactly what you would have thought. It was a really tight game the first time. I'm sure they play on the 7th, which is that's Tuesday. I'd expect probably Nashville's going to win that one 1-0, and then they'll go back for a rubber match in Orlando. And there we go. MLS play. I mean, like, I love having. I said this last week. I know there's a lot of things to shit on with MLS playoffs and sort of the structure and everything. I just like having more games. I'm not hating on that. I like that part of it. Champions League this week. So we have the that interesting week where Team A goes to Team B in the middle of the group stage on the third match day of the group stage. And then on fourth match day, Team B goes to Team A, right? So they flip it around. So, we got the same exact matchups as last time. So all the same things we said last week apply. And I don't know, any games stand out to you, Mitch or Mikey? Is Mikey still there? Is he
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Bong hits? I don't know what he's doing right now. He's definitely ripping bong hits. Let's be honest.
I'm getting changed.
Oh, we got naked Mikey on the podcast. Okay.
You gotta pay for Sam's Army Premium for that shit.
Sam's Army After Dark is back, baby.
I like Borussia Dortmund Newcastle. That group was kind of deemed the strongest of all of the Champions League groups, and it hasn't really had a super strong showing compared to some of the other ones. Like, I've been really impressed with some of the quote unquote smaller teams like Red Star Belgrade and but now this Dortmund Newcastle game, I'd like to see Gio Reyna work his way back into like a starting 11 for Dortmund. He came on the weekend and provided really good minutes. Or did he start on the weekend? I know he played well, is all I know. But I think this Dortmund team is kind of finding their legs, and I wish nothing but ill against Newcastle.
There we go. There's the spite that Mikey usually brings to the table. Mitch just supplementing this week. We don't really have a way of getting into it too much because we sort of focus on, Premier League more than anything else. But Gio Reyna has been playing really well for Dortmund.
In the center of the park, I might add.
Right, in the middle of the field. So, that's great to see. Just fucking stay healthy, please God. We were dealing with all the Adams and Weah, and didn't Pulisic is dealing with something right now. Mikey's got clothes on. Sorry, everybody at home. So that will be interesting. PSG Milan is a game that I will be interested in. Milan's gotta pick it up a little bit. Mikey, any thoughts on Champions League?
Yeah, the most interesting game for me in terms of how the Champions League is going to shake out is going to piss everybody off. But I think people should be watching what Santiago Jimenez is doing at Feyenoord. That game against Lazio in Feyenoord this week is going to be a chance to, one, cement him as one of those strikers that's going to go for 60+ million in a few years. And two, reaffirm what my eyes have been telling me for the past 2 years, that Lazio are actually garbage and do not deserve to be in the conversation with the other Napolis and other clubs in Syria. So I think Feyenoord put the final nail in the coffin, and Jimenez bags a brace.
Interesting. We have not talked about Santi Jimenez on
He's
this
unbelievable.
podcast.
He is unbelievable.
He's playing well. I'll in the public forum, I'll be the first to, sort of use the tap in merchant moniker with him, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I will say that. Okay, let's put a bow on this episode. Let's move to stoppage time, where we will by the way, NWSL final this weekend. Katie Stengel.
I'm going.
Good. Are you going?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
is it in San Diego?
Yeah.
You're going across the country for that? Wow. Good boy. Good man. That's awesome.
No, good boy works.
Good lad. That's what I was actually thinking of. Are you doing it are you doing something for overtime?
Yeah, there's a brand deal that I'm going to produce out there. We're working with Adobe, and so I'll be floating around the Fan Fest out there. If you see me, I am producing. I'm not talent, so you can come and bully me or whatever. But yeah, so what's up?
Yeah, that's awesome. And the reason I brought it up is Katie Stengel, good fan of the program, scored the game winner for Gotham FC. Well, I think it was last night in stoppage time. So she came off the bench and, put a belter side netting in the 100 and whatever minute to lift them over Reign. No, not over Reign. Who the hell are they playing? Portland. They were playing the Portland Thorns. And so the Reign beat the San Diego team. So they're going to be playing in San Diego. It's going to be the Seattle basically, Olympic rain or whatever, playing Gotham FC in the final this weekend. I'll just be riding with Gotham because, Katie Stengel, a good fan of the program, or good friend of the program, and, coming off of a hell of a last second win there. So there we go. And anybody there, look for our guy Mitchell. All right. Now we'll put a bow on this episode. Stoppage time. We'll start out with Ivan Toney's best bets, and oh boy, we got a mea culpa here. The over train was cooking. It was cooking hot. It was cooking too hot. We got a little over our skis. I'd gone 13 for 15 over the past 3 weeks, and then this past week, yeah, I lost 4 and got 1 right. One for 5, not great. Sporting Kansas City and St. Louis saved my bacon on Sunday and didn't go over. So shout out to them, but it was a bad weekend. It was a bad weekend for your boy. But here's the thing. I'm ready to bounce back. And in fact, I'm going to make it up to you by offering a extra special, one more pick. So instead of Wednesday through Sunday, I'm going to throw a Tuesday one. Free of charge, no extra charge. We're just going to throw it in there for you. And that's what we're going to have. Do you guys want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
You can't hype that up and then have us go first.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I didn't want to go first because it's going to be tough for you to beat this because I'm handing out winners like candy, unlike last week where obviously, we had a little setback. But you know what? Mentality monsters around here. So we're going to just keep on cooking. And we're going to add a Tuesday onto the rest of the week. So we got 6 picks, not 5 aside. We're going to go 6 here. Tuesday is an absolute lock. I've already teased this. Atlanta and Columbus, MLS playoffs. My mind is blown that they only had 2 goals last week in the first game of the playoff series. There is 0% chance. This is a lock. This is an absolute lock. They are going over on Tuesday, Atlanta and Columbus. You can take that to the bank. Money back guarantee with a lot of caveats and asterisks that I don't, can't actually pay you. Wednesday, we're going to go to Scotland. St. Mirren and Hibs. Loving that matchup. Thursday, we're going to go to the Europa Conference League. PAOK, the one in Greece, is hosting Aberdeen. So they score. I was on the over the last time they played in the Europa Conference League and was thinking I was way off base. They scored 5 goals in the second half last time. So I'm expecting that. I think they found each other's weak spots. I think they're going to keep that going. So PAOK and Aberdeen on Thursday, and that's the Conference League. Friday is an easy gimme. Gladbach and Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. Both those teams score and get scored on. So that's an absolute lovely matchup for the over better lovers. And Saturday, San Luis and Santos Laguna in Liga MX. And then Sunday, we're going to go to the Eerste Divisie. That's the 2nd division in the Netherlands. And ADO Den Haag is hosting Cambuur. And those who have been watching or listening for the last however many weeks, Mitchell Goulet turned me on to Cambuur, and they are an absolute cheat code for overs at this point. I think they won today like 8-1. So just throwing that out there. Nice little ADO Den Haag hosting Cambuur. Can't love that anymore. So there you go. 6 picks, 6 overs, Tuesday through Sunday. Let's go get rich. All right, Mitch, what do you got for us?
I got some midweek action. I love betting Champions League. I know I sang their praise earlier, literal minutes ago. But I like Leipzig over Red Star Belgrade. I like Leipzig money line. Yeah, I did text Sam a picture of my haircut. The kit was nice. I did the haircut myself. I look good. I'm not gonna say I don't. And I pulled it off. Yeah. I like Red Star. I'm sorry. I like RB Leipzig over Red Star Belgrade. They've already beat them 3-1. And now, like we mentioned, it's the reverse fixture. I like Arsenal and Sevilla both to score. We will concede. I feel it. We're going to concede, but we will win that game as well.
It's Arsenal at home, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
We will concede. And then they're giving City 3 goals against Young Boys. I like Young Boys +3 because I think City are going to rotate heavily for that game. That is as much as a win in hand as you can have in a Champions League group stage for a team like City. I don't know if Young Boys score, but City have not beat many teams by 3 this year. Granted, I know they mostly play Premier League teams and not Swiss division teams, but nonetheless, young boys are in the Champions League for a reason. I like them to at least keep it within 3. Put all those together, you're at +400.
Now that's bold coming off of City's 6-1 mauling of Bournemouth.
It's Bournemouth. It's Bournemouth. I think young boys beat Bournemouth.
All right. Oh, I don't disagree with you on that. Young boys, I think they're the best team in the Swiss league so far this season. Okay, fair enough. Bucky, what you got?
Madrid frustration on the weekend. I think they beat Braga, and I think they have a couple goals scored. So I like Fede Valverde to be one of the goal scorers in that game. Had an early shot on target in the game this weekend that I think they should have won. So I like him on Wednesday as a little taster, and then probably. I want to say Thursday, that Toulouse-Liverpool game has a ton of goals in it. Toulouse had a ton of goals in them last year. Salah hasn't scored in 2, so I like him. He's probably going to be right around plus money, right around that 100 number for the anytime goal scorer against Toulouse. So those Wednesday, Thursdays, you put those together possibly if you've gotten rich so far, and you pay it all off on the weekend. When we look at, I'm trying to find who they're playing because I bet them every week. Leverkusen look fantastic. Wirtz is going to score a goal again or assist one. Union Berlin have looked shambolic, got smacked at home to Frankfurt. So I think Leverkusen win big again. So I would continue to ride that train while it's hot. Wirtz, anytime goal scorer or assist. Those are the 3 we got this week.
There we go. Digging deep for the winners. Well done, boys. All right, let's finish up with everybody's favorite segment, GOAWs. So, Mitchell, you're the one with the freshly shorn head. I feel like you get to go first. Looking all.
I don't know how that equates, but sure.
Yeah,
I got a couple this week. One of them is two of them, I suppose, are the Aronson brothers, Paxton and Brendan, for playing against one another in the Bundesliga. Just a cool moment. Another is Iago Aspas, who showed his frustration by trashing a VAR setup in a late game, was not happy with the call and made it known. I think we need more physical action like that against the computers that are ruining our beautiful game. And then my third and final GOA is someone mentioned in this in this podcast before, is Jimmy Conrad, for one of his responses on Twitter earlier today when someone came at him. Someone came at him for moving out of Kansas City and like having an opinion. And Jimmy Conrad said, I played for the club for 8 years and I'm in the Hall of Fame. I always get an opinion. And like, what are you doing responding to Jimmy Conrad and trying to like shit on him? Like, there are so many other people to make fun of on the internet, not James Conrad. Come on. Shout out my guy, Jimmy.
How much of a fan do you have to be to like not understand that like Jimmy Conrad played for the sport? Did they not know?
And also to hold a grudge against people that move out of that city after they're done playing for the club.
Right.
Yeah, God forbid someone moves out of Kansas City. Jesus.
There we go. Get some shots in Kansas City. I'll allow it because I'm still a little slightly butthurt as a a semi St. Louis City fan. All right, Mikey, what do you got for us? Well done, Mitch, by the way. Those are good.
I have the Arsenal U18 bus driver.
Oh yeah. You took one of mine.
Arsenal's, for those of you who don't know, Arsenal's U18 match at Brighton was postponed after the team bus arrived at Bournemouth instead of Brighton. One of my favorite moments of the season is seeing that on Twitter and really enjoying how that went down. My second shout out is to Football Manager players everywhere. The new game has come out. So I'll see you all on the other side. And yeah, I think I was gonna say something nice about what happened with Tomiyasu this year, but I don't or this month with the Player of the Month award, but I'll save you all that and instead credit one man who tweeted today. I could pull up his name really quickly. About today's Newcastle or today's Chelsea Tottenham game that this is just your average pro clubs game. It was AFC James. So as a pro clubs player who's retired into a Football Manager player, I think watching this Chelsea Tottenham game followed up with the new Football Manager coming out should be my go of this week. If you're a true nerd like me, you'll appreciate it. So
all right. You took mine. I was actually gonna have the Arsenal U18 bus driver as my actual go. So I'll pull a
best.
I'll pull a plan B. So a couple honorable mentions first. Nicholas Jackson gets one for scoring a hat trick and somehow still getting a 6.7 five mob fucking rating. I don't know how you fucking pull that off, but that is special. So well done to my man Nicholas Jackson. Katie Stengel for reasons we've already mentioned. And Anthony Taylor also gets an honorable mention for his, paid vacation / demotion. He was, I think he was doing Champions League games not long ago, or at least Europa League games, and now he's down in the championship. That's tough. And finally, the actual goal this week is to Saarbrücken. FC Saarbrücken, the third division team that took down Bayern Munich in the DFB or DFP Pokal. What is DFP? DFB Pokal Cup, which is their version of the FA Cup, and it was just an awesome sort of last minute stoppage time winner. It's just exactly all the romance that you could pack into one soccer game that had it. And so Bayern Munich losing in the DFB Pokal is number one. Kind of unprecedented. I know they've lost maybe in the finals, but they do not lose that. So to lose to a third division team in whatever round they were in was just it was the second round. Whew. So yeah, it was just a really cool moment, and that's what promotion, relegation, and sort of the FA Cup version of whatever DFB Pokal Cup. That's what in US Open. That's what it's all about for the lower division team. So shout out to FC Saarbrücken. That's all we got. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening as always, and a heartfelt thanks also to Mitchell and Mikey. It's great to have you on always. Mitch, love the haircut. Mikey, love that you have clothes on, and we will be back next week, everybody. See you guys then.